So it's looking very likely that Lee Carsley will take full charge of the England national team for the next few matches at the very least. He is reportedly going to take charge of both of the Nations League games that are coming up. And so with that in mind, I wanted to kind of take a look at who Lee Carsley is and also ask the question, why does nobody want to manage England? Because it seems like nobody wants to manage the England national team. And I think there's some very, very key reasons why that is the case. Well, first of all, with Carsley, he is the current under-21s boss for England, and he's had success in that role as well. He won the under-21s championship back in 2023, beating Spain, I believe, in the final, who have gone on to win everything since then in football, really. Both the women's, the men's, the seniors, the juniors, everything. They're absolutely bossing it at the moment, and might well pick up an Olympic gold medal as well this weekend. So he's experienced in that sort of sense, and he's also effectively, if he does get full charge of the team, and he has been one of the favourites to do so, but if he does get full charge of the team, he'll follow the exact same route that Gareth Southgate did. Southgate went from being an under-21s boss to being a senior team's boss, and that kind of helps, I think, to be honest. It helped cut his teeth, get used to the kind of environment around St George's Park, get used to some of the players that he'll be playing with, using to actually play the games with, because obviously the under-21 players, a lot of them do go on to make full caps eventually. So in terms of his actual experience with senior team management, I think he's only ever been a caretaker of one team before. Like, for the vast majority of times, he's just been caretaker a few times for Coventry, for Birmingham. He was the permanent manager of Brentford all the way back in 2015 as well, but since then it's just been under 20s for England and 21s for England now. So he's not managed a senior side on a full-time basis in 10 years nearly. So interesting. On top of that as well, because I'm sure some people will point it out, he is Irish, sort of. He's born and raised in England, but he ended up getting caps for Ireland because he probably realised he wasn't good enough to play for England national team, so he went to the B side. Sorry, Irish fans, that's a joke. I'm a quarter Irish. I feel like I could make that joke. But in all seriousness, I am distinctly underwhelmed by that. No disrespect to Carsley. Actually, a little disrespect to him, because he was a part of the backroom staff that made up the worst Sheffield United side I've ever seen, and they're the team that I support. He was awful. Well, the team was awful then when he was there with David Weir for all of 10 matches. So I will always hold that against him. But in all seriousness, since then a lot has happened. But I'm just underwhelmed by it, because it does. England have incredible players. We have some unbelievable talent, and this was the big criticism when it came to England at Euro 24. We had these incredible players, but we just did not utilise them properly with Gareth Southgate, and nobody should be able to argue that, because we didn't, and because that we didn't perform as well as we could have done. Still might not have been enough to beat Spain, but we would have made more of a better go of it for sure. So why are these top managers not wanting to manage England? Well, there's a few reasons why. I mean, you look at England as a national team, and the biggest reason for me is the press. The press in England are cancerous. They really are. The media, I know I'm part of the media in a sense doing this now, but you know what I'm talking about. The tabloids, a lot of the network TV shows, radio even, it's an onslaught from everybody. And I know there's this expectation of all the great national teams, Brazil, Spain, Germany, Italy, France. There is massive expectations on those nations, of course there is, but it seems like in England, the media think we have this God-given right to win everything, and we don't. We're not that good. We've won one tournament in our entire history, and that was nearly 60 years ago. It will be 60 years by the time the next World Cup rolls around in 2026. We don't have this God-given right to win everything. Yes, we invented the game and all this and that, but it's moved on since then. Players and countries have frankly got better than we have at them, and they deserve their success. And we deserve not to have any success for the most part, So the media is a big part of it. I feel like there's far too much pressure on them. And on top of that as well, it's just, in general, it's the expectation now, because now we've got whoever comes in as the next England manager will be, their aim will be to win the World Cup. Not semi-finals, not the final, win the World Cup. That is the minimum that is expected of them. And it sounds ridiculous to say it, but it's true. England have now reached that point where we've reached 2 finals at the Euros. We've got some of the best players in the world that are only going to get better over these next 2 years between now and the next World Cup. And because of that, I genuinely think it's why I've got so much respect in a sense for Arne Slot at Liverpool, because he's having to pick up from Jurgen Klopp. You look at David Moyes, how he struggled after Sir Alex Ferguson as the next Manchester United manager, and you better believe the same thing is going to happen when Pep Guardiola leaves Manchester City. When you got these great managers that leave, or managers that have achieved a hell of a lot, which Gareth Southgate has achieved a lot. Yeah, he didn't win anything, but he did get to 2 finals. He achieved more as England manager than any England manager has achieved since Sir Alf Ramsey when he won the World Cup. You can argue that the likes of Sir Bobby Robson and managers like that were better, but in terms of their achievement, in terms of what they actually did, Southgate's the best since Alf Ramsey. And that cannot be denied. 2 finals. Like, that's all you have to say. He blows everybody else out of the water. Nobody's reached a final since Ramsey did. So, yeah, I feel like that's part of it. So whoever's coming in has got a massive task. And they're going to have the pressure both from inside the FA and from the outside, from the media and the fans as well. And that is going to turn off a lot of players and managers from coming to England. Think of Phil Scolari. I think he was in talks to replace Sven when he left after 06, but he didn't do it because he said the media was too much. And this guy managed Brazil. Brazil expect to win every tournament without fail. He won the World Cup with Brazil. He knows what that pressure is like. But he said England was too much. England's too much. So, yeah, that's my opinion on it, guys. I want to hear your thoughts as well in the comments, as always. That's my kind of thoughts about why no one wants to manage England, and it's probably going to go to Carsley. I'm telling you, it's going to go to Carsley. Hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. And if it does go to him, and he wins us the World Cup, I just don't see it happening though. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and of course, for much more football opinions, news and reviews, keep it tuned right here to thefootballchronicle.com.